so far, and how I found out that my boyfriend not only had me but also had another girlfriend and a wife. Not only that, but he also had 2 children and one on the way while he was with me. And I'm going to tell you how the 3 of us joined forces to destroy and end him. So, this story is going to be called The Powerpuff Girls, because why not? It all began when I was 16 years old. I met the cockroach, the so-called protagonist of this story, on Facebook. One day, he added me, I accepted, and we started talking, eventually having a long-distance relationship. A relationship on Facebook. We lived in different cities, which is why we had this Facebook relationship. I knew he had 2 children because he told me at some point, but he said he had nothing to do with the mother of his children, that she was just the mother and nothing more, that she wasn't his partner. So, being very naive and innocent, I believed him. So, we lasted a few months like that, with the long-distance relationship, until the client wasn't interested anymore, and we broke up. Years passed, and this guy found me again. There's no doubt life was playing the same tricks on me. The same story repeated. He added me on Facebook, messaged me once a month, asking how I was doing. At that time, I already had a partner, and he told me he was dating a girl. A few days later, he messaged me like, hey, what's up? I don't have a girlfriend anymore. And I was like, oh, really? And he said, yeah, she hacked all my accounts. She had all the passwords to my Facebook, Instagram, this cockroach's accounts, and supposedly, she saw conversations with an ex-girlfriend of this guy. Well, he pretended to be sad. Then, after a few days of practice, he said, hey, what if we meet? And I said, yeah, let's see what happens. And guess what? We got back together, but this time, everything seemed to be going well, except that we only talked on WhatsApp, not on Facebook anymore, supposedly because, as I said, the ex-girlfriend had hacked his accounts and already had the passwords to his accounts, so we only talked on WhatsApp. So, he created a new Facebook account to add me. This account didn't have his real name, just a nickname and his last names. He only added his colleagues, co-workers, his sisters, and me, nobody else. I mean, no friends from the street, from high school, just that. One day, the cockroach says to me, hey, what if we follow each other on Instagram? Big mistake, sister, big mistake. Profile picture, you see, it looked very small. It was private, had a picture of 2 people hugging. And I was like, who's that? Could it be her? I didn't ask, acted dumb, and went into his Facebook to look for the ex-girlfriend. You might wonder, how did you find her if his new Facebook had nobody? Well, I went to the first Facebook we talked about, the initial one, and there she was, the ex-girlfriend. Not only that, on that Facebook, they still used it, still posted photos, had social photos of face that supposedly he was using, and the ex-girlfriend had hacked it. On that Facebook, there were photos of his ex-girlfriend, of him, of them together, against the ex-girlfriend. There on Instagram, she had the same profile picture as the cockroach. I thought, what game are you playing? Well, I'll show you. And I know how, as if nothing happened. I continued my relationship just fine because I was going to get revenge, sister. Revenge is sweet, and the cleverest. I started posting loads of photos with him on my Instagram, but I only liked them. And on Facebook, well, if the tag came. But as it was his fake Facebook, I would comment things there. One day, my revenge began, and I sent a friend request to a friend of his ex-girlfriend. So obviously, the ex-girlfriend's friend knows him. So when the cockroach would comment things, the friend would like them or react to the comments. So the cockroach found out and realized who it was, and started giving me the whole spiel. Why are you adding that guy? He's my ex-girlfriend's friend. And I was like, oh, yeah, right, I didn't know. Better, I'll delete him right now. Obviously, I acted all cool because, you know, it's not about the revenge. Before deleting him, I sent him a message and told him what was happening. And he sent me a super cool screenshot of the guy with evidence that my boyfriend was still with his ex-girlfriend. So I got in touch with the ex-girlfriend. We started talking. Super nice. She said, look, I want to leave him already. Send me some proof that you're with him. And with that, I have enough to leave him. I told him, perfect. don't worry. I sent him the proof. Let's start talking. Then she told me, I'm 16 years old, and at that time, the guy worked as a police officer. So, between this girl and me, we planned how to destroy his life in a second. The truth is, what we did was that she agreed to threaten him, saying she would burn him at his police job and claim that he had gotten involved with a minor. He lost his police job. The first girl was like a superhero. So, he told me he lost his job and was looking for another one, but the pay was very low and wasn't enough because he lived alone and had to pay rent, utilities, etc. He went bankrupt to the point where he had to move back in with his parents. When he moved back in with his parents, I told him I wanted to visit him, obviously to see his reaction. He said no, and he kept making excuses. My crazy side was still active, so I wanted to see what else was happening. I kept playing the role of, oh, my love, and he didn't know that I was behind all of this. I mean, the 16-year-old ex-girlfriend didn't show him the evidence that she was with me. She just told him, you're with someone else, and that's it. But he never told me that. He just said, I lost my job. He didn't know that I was an accomplice to his ex-girlfriend. One day, he arrived and told me, well, you didn't come. Very upset. I just fought with the mother of my children because it turns out she's pregnant. I don't know whose baby it is, but he claimed that the girl got pregnant by someone else and had kicked him out of the house. Supposedly, the guy was supposed to take her to live with his parents because he couldn't leave his children on the street. He told me, my love, I swear, he didn't talk like that. It was more like, look, my love, I swear that I'll have to take her to live in my house, but I don't even love her. Supposedly, he was going to take her to live with him at his parents' house because he couldn't leave his children on the street. And I was like, oh, my love, don't worry. I was still in my role, thinking, why do I have to contact this girl? So, there I was at 3 in the morning, searching for the girlfriend. There's the mother of his children, but I don't know how, but I found her. Anyway, I should be satisfied with just toxic and jealous women. Today, with the second girl, the superheroine, I said, hi, how are you? By the way, this jerk used to tell me she was a bad, irresponsible, drunk mother. That's not true. She was super sweet, a good mom, and still had to put up with this animal. So, I told her everything about the ex-girlfriend, everything. At first, I felt bad telling her because I knew she was pregnant, but she had to open her eyes. She couldn't stay there with him. Obviously, she felt sad at first, not for herself, but because she told me, I don't want my kids to grow up without a father. My sister told me, he's not my boyfriend. He's my husband. I'm married to him. We've never stopped seeing each other. We haven't divorced. He's my husband. The girl told me she had a lot of family problems and didn't have money to support her kids. So, I offered from the bottom of my heart to help her and told her, look, I do have money. I'll pay for a lawyer, so let's sue that jerk for child support. The girl accepted my help. I got her a lawyer. The lawyer won the case, and he was ordered to pay child support. He had a mediocre job, earned very little, and gave it all to his kids. And this guy kept telling me the girl was pregnant by someone else, but I don't know if it's his child. He hasn't kicked her out, the jerk told me. He didn't know I had been behind all of this. Then one day, he arrived super upset because everything had fallen apart. He had a lawsuit and all that jazz. He said, my love, I think it's time we get married. And I said, yes, of course, it's time. I told him, we need to talk to your family to tell them. But he said, no, 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 I won't. Of course, I talked to the family and told them everything. The whole family sided with us and kicked him out of the house. His parents threw him out, and he went to live in a tiny room. To this day, he keeps begging me in tears to come back to him. And that's how 3 women united to destroy this man. 3 women, 1 path. And the path was revenge. The jerk and the Powerpuff Girls, we emerged triumphant from all of this.